Alright, hello everybody, it's Mr. Chan, and we are doing a video on summation notation, also known as sigma notation. So let me always start off my usual tangent. This is where I went to go eat this weekend. It's called the Magic Restroom Cafe, so everything's toilet themed, and they have, curry in a toilet bowl, and when you sit down you sit on a toilet seat. So I just thought I'd show you guys that. It was terrible food, but it was really funny. Alright, so let me pull up Paint here, and I'm gonna go ahead and just start from the beginning with the problems I want you guys to do. Okay, so I'm actually gonna pause the video right now so I can write them out for you guys real quickly. Alright, and there we go. By the magic of pausing my video and continuing it, I have your two problems for homework. Here's problem number 1. The summation of n plus 3 from n equals 2 to 6, and the summation of 1/2 n from n equals 0 to 5. So I just wanted to get that out of the way because I felt like a lot of you guys already knew it. So if you really know it, hey, you know what, move on. Otherwise I'm gonna make kind of like a 8 to 9 minute video this time. Alright, let's get started on today's online lesson. So summation or sigma notation is really this kind of like a sideways M, and you actually kind of see it a lot, especially if you go into Greek life or anything like that. So this is the summation or the sigma notation, and it's always going to be some sort of letter down here. With me, I normally stick to n, and let's pick a number, any number, and today, you know what, I'm going to pick 3, and for the top I'm going to pick 6. Okay, and I'm going to put a sequence in here, and today let's do the sequence a sub n is equal to 2n plus 1. So this is an arithmetic sequence that's explicit, right? Alright, so I'm going to put this in 2n plus 1. Okay. Alright, so what summation notation is telling me to do is to pick out the 3rd term all the way to the 6th term. So let me pause the video to save time and write out the terms. Now remember that when I make the sequence for this one, this is the same thing, right? This is the first term, a sub 1, a sub 2, a sub 3, a sub 4, a sub 5, and finally a sub 6. Okay, so with all of these terms, what this is telling me to do is add a sub 3, because that's where you start. So this is the start, and they want you to add all the terms from a sub 3 all the way up a sub 4, a sub 5, and they want you to end, and I like to call this the terminator. This is the initializer and the terminator. So the last term will be a sub 6 right here. And I have nice Christmas colors to get us in the spirit. Okay, so this is your start when n equals 3 for the 3rd term, and finally your end would be the 6th term right here, and I'll circle those in color for you. And the green one right here. Okay, so now all you have to do is replace it. And most people, like, you can think of it in terms, but most people, they'll just start plugging in the numbers. So when you plug in 3 into here, you plug 3 into this n, well, you'll get 6 plus 1, so that gives you 7. Okay, now you plug in 4, right? Plug in 4 because you're going a sub 4, And you can kind of think of it this way. You're plugging in this 3 into here, and then you're plugging this 4 into here. So now you have 9. Okay. In other words, when you plug 4 in, you get 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And the next one obviously would be 11. And the next one would be 13. And that's all that's telling you to do. And you can go ahead and add that up, and you get 40. So let me pause the video and I'll do one more example for you guys. Alright, so let's finish these 2 examples and then we're done. Alright, so over here on the left we have the summation of negative 2n from 0 to 5. And we're going to plug in 0, and that gives us negative 2 times 0. And this is basically our a sub 0, right? For the sequence a sub n equals negative 2n, right? Because a sub 0 is equal to negative 2 times 0. Okay, and then we keep going, plus negative 2 times 1 plus negative 2 times 2 plus negative 2 times 3. I'm going to write another line, plus negative 2 times 4 plus negative 2 times 5. Okay, and this one would be a sub 5, and that's our terminator, right? We end at 5. This is our initializer, n equals 0. That's the start. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish this up. We got 0 minus 2 minus 4 minus 6 minus 8 minus 10. Now remember, when you're doing summation notation, you're adding in between things, but this negative still applies. That's why it's negative 2 times 1, negative 2 times 2, negative 2 times 3, negative 2 times 4, negative 2 times 5. And for some reason, I don't know why, I guess I'm not thinking, but there's these parentheses here. I mean, I just did that out of the blue, just because. So when I multiply them together, I get negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, negative 8, negative 10. And that's how I did this. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and calculate it for you. That's negative 30. Negative 30. Took me a second there. Alright, now for the other one. This is a sequence. This is the sequence, right? This would be the sequence of a sub n equals 2. Now, what does that sequence look like? 2, 2, 2, 2, because it's not changing, right? So let's check. A sub 3 is equal to, well, there's nothing to change n to. You only change this n. You change this n to 3, and there's nothing else to change. There's no n over here. See how this one has an n? So this one just stays at 2. Now what we need to figure out is how many times we're adding 2 together. And you can simply count it like this. So here's n equals 3, n equals 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we did it 8 times, right? You have a sub 3 plus a sub 4, and let me just save you a time here. So remember, you have a sub 3 plus a sub 4, a sub 5, a sub 6, a sub 7, a sub 8, a sub 9, a sub 10. And you can count that on your fingers: 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 8 things, right? And the shortcut to figuring out how many terms you're going to add together is you take the initializer, you take the terminator, you take the initializer, and you do this to them. You go 10 minus 3, and here's the important part, you have to add 1. Okay, and that gives you 10 minus 3 is 7, 7 plus 1 is 8. Let's go ahead and count off and make sure there's 8 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so 8 things. Okay. And that's a check mark to say there is 8. So I know that 2 is being added a bunch of times. 2 plus 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 2. And in other words, I'm really doing 2 times 8. Repeated addition is multiplication. I think you guys kind of know that, so it's 16. And that's the answer for the second example. I think this should help on all your homework. Sorry it's a longer video, but I really need to make sure that you guys get this. Okay? And that's it. I will see you guys in class.